What do Surge, Quaaludes, Tiffany's, and the motherfucker Chuck have in common? Find out in this episode of Starr Stories. Hey everyone! Finally, after a long hiatus, Starr Stories is back on the attack, and I figured for the return episode, I'd talk about probably the best 16 hours of my life. That was being in Las Vegas in the summer of 2015 for VidCon. Now, let me start by saying, the whole trip to Vegas was literally planned in an hour, like on the way to the doctor about 15 days before we actually left for VidCon. I booked our flight, hotel, and car all on the way to a doctor. This trip was just a spur-of-the-moment decision. A funny thing about this trip, I was secretly hoping that we went because at the time, my good friends Paul and Matt and myself were in an epic feud with the motherfucker Chuck. Now this guy, he was nuts. He threatened to kill us, and apparently he has a bounty out on Matt's head. This dude wanted to fight us. So, since we're manly men, we accepted his challenge and told him to meet us in Vegas, on Fremont, for the first ever Fremont street fight. Sadly, Chuck never showed up. But if he did, I bet we would have won and got some great video footage. So we got to LA for the night and had to leave about 10 a.m. the next morning for our flight to Las Vegas. Yes, we weren't very smart on this one and flew into LA for one night just to fly to Vegas the next morning. I'll get to LA in a whole other episode because that was crazy too. Anyway, we woke up at 8 a.m. to get ready and head to LAX. We got to LAX and figured out where we needed to be. We had a great security guard who made our trip so much easier. He said, "This is a good-looking group of people. A little young to be going to Vegas, aren't we?" With that, he was talking about Madison and I. He grabbed my ID, and I was pretty sure he was in shock to find out that I was actually 21. Great picture, I know. We finally made our way to our gate. Now, one thing we hadn't done all day was had anything to eat. But luckily, there was a small food court next to our gate. So we went and grabbed probably the most expensive and worst Burger King I've ever had in my life. For 2 meals, it was $36, which is insane. After we ate, we chilled out for a little bit, then Madison and I had to use the restroom. Now, we did this about 20 minutes before the boarding for our plane was to begin, and if you're educated, you'll know that most girls' bathrooms have lines out the door, about 30 people long, especially in airports. So once Madison and I got done, we went back to the gate, and I noticed a guy that I recognized. It took me a minute, but I stopped dead in my tracks, because it was the president of DW Drums, John Good. I was starstruck for sure. I still remember Madison coming up to me and asking if I was okay. We went and told my aunt and my mom, who were waiting to board the plane. I noticed he was in front of me to get on the plane. I was thinking there was no way that I would be sitting near or next to John Good. We got on the plane, and lo and behold, he's sitting in the row in front of me. I was so starstruck, and I still have no idea why. I literally can talk to famous people like it's my job. I was super shy and super nervous sitting behind him. To top it off, Madison grabbed my drumsticks out of my backpack. Every good drummer carries a pair of sticks with him, and was going to poke him. Luckily, this was stopped. After about a 30 or so minute flight, we finally got into Vegas. That's when we had a little problem. We got off the plane, and as some of you know, due to scoliosis, I use the assistance of a wheelchair when I'm going to be walking long distances. Well, my wheelchair that was supposed to be right at the door of the plane was not. We asked the flight crew where it was, and they told us my wheelchair hadn't made it onto the plane. I started freaking out. What was I going to do? Finally, about 2 minutes later, the guy comes back up and he said that the chair had rolled to the very back of the plane. We finally got into the airport and headed to the rental car buses, where I got some heat for my Blackhawks hat. After getting our rental and finally going through what seemed like a billion stoplights, we finally made it to our hotel, Caesar's Palace. Now, this hotel is so amazing, I could not believe it. We checked in at the same front desk that was used in The Hangover, which is one of my favorite movies.
You probably get this a lot. This isn't the real Caesar's Palace, is it?
What do you mean?
Did Caesar live here?
No.
I didn't think so.
We got changed and settled in. The first thing I did was call up my great friend Paul and told him I was in Vegas. We made plans to meet up at the Bacchanal Buffet. My mom and Deanna went to gamble. Madison and I waited for Paul, Lana, and Matt. We met them at the buffet, and then we called my mom and my aunt to meet us. After about a 15-minute wait, we were seated. Now, this buffet was amazing. No, amaze balls. So many options. After we ate, we all tried to come up with a game plan for the night. My mom and aunt wanted to go explore the slot machines, while I wanted to hang out with my friends. So they went off and did their thing, and we did ours. The first stop was a fountain to cut a promo on Chuck.
What's it out, Chuck? Just like before.
I'm gonna come down there and I'm gonna cook and eat ghost. I'm gonna get a whole bottle of Quaaludes, Chuck. Take them. Then I'm gonna go down to Fremont Street. I'm gonna pump ghost. Once I've done that, I'm not even gonna remember it, Chuck. The only witness over here is gonna be the merman.
You know, we're in a quite romantic setting, Chuck. But I think there's skydiving up there. It may be the surge. I don't know what's happening right now. But Chuck, we're coming for you.
Going all the way down there to Tennessee or wherever you...
Chuck, eat,
Sleep, conquer, Chuck,
repeat.
Where are you?
Who didn't show up. At this time, I, LucasAStarr, was introduced to the holy grail of drinks, Surge. I literally could make a whole other video about how good Surge actually is. After I chugged about half a can of Surge, I started going insane, rolling around in my wheelchair saying, "I feel the power of the warrior."
The power of the ultimate warrior!
Over and over again, and everyone was looking at me like I was a madman. We then tried to figure out what to do next. When I looked over, I saw a golden light come from heaven, and it shined down, and it shined down upon, wait for it, Tiffany's. And it came to me. Why not have the best couple in Las Vegas, Lana and Paul, go into Tiffany's with myself, Matt, and Madison as the wedding party and try to buy a ring with Surge. Here's a clip of the behind the scenes of us planning the prank.
Alright everybody, so myself, Lana, Paul, Matt, and Madison, we're gonna go pull a prank on probably the craziest place that we can actually do this, and that's at...
Bad idea. Bad idea.
Bad idea. We're gonna do it at Tiffany & Co. They're gonna walk in. Are you gonna pay in Surge or what's your... Okay.
So let's fix it, and then like... Somebody's gonna slip on all this surge right here. This is legit. And they just be like, fine, you take payments in surge. After you guys have a fight, I've got a payment full of surge. Okay, I can say that they take payment in surge. I was gonna slip Quaalude in there. At some point. No. Yes. 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 Everybody's gonna...
No, you should like me like we'll stand next, like I'll get up and like we can stand next to you, like encourage you to do it, and then be like whisper in my ear, hope she doesn't know I slipped her a Quaalude. Like
Be something like that.
You're ready.
huh?
Hey man, I've never had an acting date in my life.
Me neither.
Everybody say a prayer that we don't get arrested for this. Alright,
I'm claiming insanity.
are we ready?
I'm gonna claim insanity.
So, this prank was probably the craziest thing we could ever have done. I had been joking going into the trip that I might get arrested, but doing this little prank, I literally thought we might actually get arrested. We went in full gimmick. Lana and Paul getting married, it was honestly so hard to try not to break character for this, like, so hard. But we went through it, kinda. Hopefully next time we can get it down right to where we actually pull out the surge. After that, we kinda just walked around the strip, and somewhere along the line I developed a terrible, and I do mean terrible, Russian accent, which I kept yelling in. It sounded a little something like this. "Lana, we have no money!" Yeah, terrible, I know. We continued walking down the strip, and somehow we started talking about Quaaludes. I don't remember how we got started on it, but it was the joke of the night. So Matt would go up to these street performers or people in costumes and mention something about Quaalude. Most of the time they found it funny, except for the dude dressed as Elvis. Or maybe it was Elvis. I'm pretty sure he wanted to kill Matt when he said, "Hunka hunka burning Quaaludes."
Say, burn love. Burn love, Quaaludes. Thanks, man. Thank you, man. Thank you.
I mean, look at how pissed off he looks. After that, we went down and walked to Sprinkles Cupcakes. Even though we had just eaten at the largest buffet in the world, we needed dessert. After our little stop, we went back to the forum shops at Caesar's Palace, and got in the 900-degree elevator and found some sofas to sit on and relax. At the time, Matt, Paul, and Lana decided to head home. So they walked us back to our wing of the hotel, and we headed out. After that, Madison and I went to our room to import footage and change. Because, well, we were sweating because of that 900-degree elevator. Or should I say, hellevator. We got to our room to find it a little bit out of sorts. My mom and aunt had flung their clothes all around the room to change. We didn't know what had happened. Even more so, we hadn't gotten a text back from either one of them the entire night. We just figured they'd ran off and got married. We changed and imported some of the footage, and then we decided we'd go explore the strip and the hotel a little more. But about halfway to the lobby, my wheelchair decided it was going to have a low battery. So we had to push the sumbitch back upstairs to our room. We got it charged, and my mom and aunt finally came back to the room, and we decided we needed some drinks and new clothes. Because I was an idiot and only brought black, and black jeans. I was not very smart on that. So we Google mapped the closest Walmart and decided to go. We went down to valet, and all of a sudden, my mom couldn't find her ticket for the car. After some talking, they finally figured out what we had and brought it to us. And then, like 5 minutes later, she found the card. Go figure. We drove to Walmart and picked up the stuff we needed and headed back to the hotel. I started my edits and finally hit the hay. The next morning, we all got up and got ready and walked around the hotel to see what we could do to kill time before our plane took off. We headed to the Harley shop and got some gifts for some family and some friends, and then we went back to the airport to head back to LA for VidCon. Looking back on those 12 or so hours we were in Vegas, it was probably one of the best memories of the summer. Hanging out with Matt, Paul, Lana, and Madison was really good for me. They're all some of my very best friends, and they've made me a better person. I can't wait to go back to Vegas, so one day I can post another Starr Stories from Vegas. Which, when I wrote this, I hadn't gone to Vegas yet. But I have 3 other videos for you guys coming up soon for Vegas, so stay tuned for that. But that does it for this episode. I hope you all enjoyed it. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe for more, and I'll see you guys next time.